Hello everyone, welcome to Powerline. I'm your host Skyknight, and today, I have a deck profile for you. None other than the Sword Boys. That's right, a Touken Ranbu deck profile. As you see, I got my mat ready, and it's gonna be nothing but fun. So, this deck profile that I'm going to be working on is actually different than than what I'm used to. This one's actually name specific, and what I mean by name specific, right under the name of the clan where it says Touken Ranbu, there is, I guess, the class that they belong to, I guess. So it's mostly focusing on the Uchigatana clan with the Nitou Kaigan ability. Now, disclaimer, guys. Disclaimer. I'm probably going to butcher these names, and I apologize. But I'm going to do the best that I can. So without further ado, let me show you what I'm working with. For starters, I'm running the old guy, Kashu Kyumitsu. He's really cool. He's my starter, Forerunner. Soul Boss 1, when he boosts, if there are no face-up cards in my damage zone, I can pay the cost. If I do, I countercharge 1. And then until the end of that battle, this dude gets plus 3k and an auto ability of when it hits, I draw a card and I put into soul. So when I finally acquired all my cards and I was trying to figure out which starter to use and what deck build to do, I figured that this was really the only starter that fit my deck. It's tragic, I know, but really, the other ones are specific between Homare and Shiken Asatsu, or just some really generic effects that don't really benefit my deck at all. So this one is alright. Going in for my grade 3s, this is where things get pretty fun. So the main stride unit of my deck, and I'm running 4 of, is Uguisumaru Toku. I'm so mad. I thought I was going to pronounce that properly. I'm running these at 4. And the alternate Vanguard is Iwatushi Toku. Iwatushi Toku, really good effect. You guys may remember him about a year ago where he was a stride unit. Now he's a grade 3 with a act ability on Vanguard and Rearguard with a Generation Break 1. Counterblast 1, this unit gets a continuous ability on Vanguard and Rearguard. This unit battles the unit you attacked and all your opponent's units in the same column in one attack until the end of turn. So basically, he wipes out columns, which is great. He is a nice homage to his G unit ability, which does rows. Attacks everything in a row. So this is a great alternate Vanguard to my main one over here, which has 2 abilities. On Vanguard, he has a Shinken Hitsatsu, which is Limit Break 3. When my unit strides during a turn, I choose up to 3 of my units and they get plus 3k until the end of the turn. Very solid ability that helps with the theme of my deck, which is power. This deck just likes to push numbers. And especially when I make proper columns. The bottom ability is the Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When it's placed on Vanguard, I pay that cost. And if I do, I look at the top 7 cards from the top of my deck for a Touken Danshi-Tachi from under and reveal it in my hand. Now, there are several cards in my deck that have the Tachi name. So, but they're not a lot. I believe it's about 3 cards that had it. There was 4. My alternate Vanguard had another Tachi, but I just didn't like the way it worked in the deck, and it ate up Counterblast for very little payout. And I'd rather just wipe a column out with Iwatushi. So I know it's one of my crit triggers, my Sentinel, and this guy are my only Tachis. So, but it's okay. Really, really is okay. Going down to the grade 2 units. I'm running 4 copies of Dua Dankuni Masakuni Toku. So this guy's pretty cool. He has the Nitou Kaigan ability on Vanguard and Rigard. So when he's boosted by a Touken Ranbu Wakazashi until the end of turn, it gets plus 2k. And he gets the Hamari ability when it hits a Vanguard, I can counterblast one to draw a card. So solid ability. He ended up being a Toku, so you know that he was part of the old set. Next is Ukui Kara Toku. I'm running him at 3. He also has a Nitou Kaigan ability on Vanguard and Rigard. When it is boosted by a Touken Ranbu Wakazashi, I can pay the cost, which is a Soul Blast 1. And if I do, I countercharge 1. Then he has a Shiken Hisatsu ability of when it attacks a Vanguard, I can counterblast 1 to give it plus 2k. So I'm not really using the bottom ability so much. I'm just using the top ability so I can start countercharging just to give myself a little bit more reliable countercharge. But I kind of already do with this deck, so it's pretty much there just in case if I... it's there just in case if I need it. So it's like one of those tech cards. Yeah. And lastly, double rare, I run 4 Imano Izumino Kami Kanesada Toku. That's a mouthful. He has a Nitou Kaigan ability. So when this is boosted by Touken Ranbu Wakazashi, this unit gets plus 4,000 to end a turn. And then his bottom ability, which is pretty cool, and it helps with getting soul on the deck. When it's placed on Vanguard or Rigard, I pay the cost, which is take a card from my hand and put it into my soul. If I do, I look at top 7 cards of my deck, then search for up to 1 Touken Ranbu Wakazashi from among them, call it to the same column as this unit, and shuffle my deck. I'll show you guys in a bit which is the prime target for this guy, but he is super, super cool and very important for the columns of my deck. Next, for the grade 1Zs, I'm running 4 Kosetsu Samanji. This is the perfect guard, the unflipping perfect guard from the last set. Super, super tech, super, super useful. I'm running 3 Strider Neighbors because sometimes you need to get there. But the Strider Neighbor is really cool for this set. Really, really cool. It's an activity that you put into the soul. You choose one of your grade 4 or greater units until the end turn, it gets plus 5,000. And the Hamari ability of when it hits a Vanguard, you may Soul Blast 1, and if you do, countercharge 2. So again, counterblast should never really be an issue in this deck. So I can play freely, to be honest. Next is Kashu Kiyomitsu Toku. And this one also is the Nitou Kaigan ability, but he's a Generation Break 1, so it upsets me a little bit. At the end of battle, that this unit was boosted, so it's a greater one that has to be boosted, by a Touken Ranbu Wakazashi. I'm going to pay the cost, which is a counterblast 1, soul blast 1. If I do, I extend it, and then this unit gets plus 4k to make it an 11k attacker. So, this Touken Ranbu card is actually a Uchigatana, which, as you know, I guess, well, it's more of the Wakazashis that I need to be more aware of. However, yeah. And lastly, the actual star of the deck, and he's my double rare, and he's actually one of the most important cards to this build, is Horikawa Kunihiro Toku. So an absolute star to this deck. Generation Break 1, Nitou Kaigan. He's actually a Touken Ranbu Wakazashi. And I believe the only one. So I'm literally hunting for this card. And I'll show you a bit. Let me tell you what he does though. This unit boosts a Touken Ranbu Uchigatana, which is this card or all my grade 2s. This unit gets plus 3k into the end of battle. And then if that unit has the Nitou Kaigan ability, this unit gets another 3k. So it gets plus 6k if it meets both requirements. So This one's Uchi Gatana and has the Nitou Kaigan ability, so this will get plus 6k. And then my grade 2s are all Uchi Gatanas with the Nitou Kaigan with the Nitou Kaigo ability. For my grade 0s, I'm running a very basic lineup. 4, 4, 4, 8? Yeah. So 4 criticals. 4 draws. And 4 heals. I upgraded my heals from the other one because I think this one just looks a little bit more manly. Just manlier healed, manlier triggers all around. This dude's pretty cool. Shokudaikiri Mitsuda. When your Vanguard attacks, if this unit's at stand, you may pay the cost, which is throw this in the soul. If I do, I draw a card. Choose 2 units in my front row, and they get plus 3k in a turn. It's a very good card. Very, very good. My draw trigger, I believe, is the best draw trigger in the goddamn game. There are ones that do rival it, but goes into the soul and counter charge. I would love for some people to argue that, but I think this is the best draw trigger in the whole game. Onward to my G-Zone. My G-Zone's pretty light. Well, I wouldn't say that. My G-Zone's pretty straightforward. There's some changes that I want to make to it, and I've been messing around with it for quite some time, but I think this version is solid until I can get the rest of the stuff that I want. 3 Kotetsu Saimonji Tokus. This is the regular G unit. G-Guard for the deck. It's pretty cool. It's Soul Blast 1. If I do, this gets plus 10k shield. And then the GR, which is Juzumaru Sun Netsugu. Which is with a counterblast 1, soul blast 1 when it's placed on the Guardian Circle. If I do, I pay that cost. Choose one of my opponent's attacking units. And it gets minus 10k to the turn. And if a Vanguard was chosen, this gets plus 5,000. So when I activate the ability, I reduce one of the units that are attacking by 10k. And then this gets plus 5k if I chose a Vanguard. So it's actually really good. Heavy on the soul, but you do what you have to do to win. Now my G-Zone. G-Zone's going to be kind of fun. So I'm running 4 Surumaru Kuninaga Tokus. 2 Nihongaos. 2 Iwatushis. And 2 Mikazuki Moonchika, and 1 Toku of that one. As you guys know, same art. Iwatushi gives you the Vermilion for a counterblast, which is super clutch. Nihongao, which is an excellent card, a Generation Break 2. I choose a copy of him and turn it face up. Until the end of turn, when this unit attacks, it gets plus 2k for each one of my rear guards that are standing, and my opponents can't call a rear guard. Grade a Sentinel to the Guardian Circle. So really good card. Most people are pairing this card with Tonbankiri. I feel that that's a deck in itself, and I'll make that one later. The Sumaru Toku. This is the one that is like super hype, the triple rare. Counterblast 1, Soul 1. Choose this card from the G-Zone and turn it face up. On an active ability, it's choose a grade 3 and a grade 2 from your drop zone. Call them to separate rear guards, and if the number of cards in my G-Zone is 2 or more, at the end of turn, I can choose one of those cards and then return it to my hand. So very excellent. Call the 2 cards. At the end of turn, if I have 2 face-up G-Zone, call the 3 back to my hand so I can use it as a Stride Fodder or a Perfect Guard Fodder to dump. Excellent, excellent. Mikazuki is an excellent GR from the last set. Counterblast 1, I choose a face-down card from my G-Zone, turn it face up. This dude gets plus 3k for each face-up card in my G-Zone. to the end of turn. And then for every 2 face-up cards in my G-Zone, I choose one of my opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. And if the number of cards in my G-Zone is 2 or more, it gets a crit. So power, crit, and retire. Perfect. And this dude is an automatic house. This is the other GR in the set. It has 2 abilities, one at Generation Break 2, the other one at 3. The 2 is if the number of rear guards that stand I have is 5. This unit, this Toku Mikazuki gets a crit. And then Generation Break 3. Counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from my hand, discard them. When this attacks, I pay the cost. If I do, choose up to 5 of my rear guards and sand them. And they all get plus 3k. Very good synergy. I love using that card if my opponent's at 4 or 5. Along with Nihongao. Definitely just enjoy trying to push my opponent to the very edge with those 2 cards. Iwatushi is a great stride. A great first stride along with Surumaru. To either wipe my opponent's board or try to create a field. So I do have a lot of options in this deck. Let me show you the power line I was talking about so you guys get an idea. And it's very simple. It's just these 2 cards. So Horikawa boosts Izumi no Kami. And it with the 2 of them, creates a 26k line when my Generation Break is live, or a 20k line when if I'm not at Generation Break, which is impressive to say the least. A 20k line when I'm swinging at Grade 2, or a 26k line when I'm releasing my Generation Break. So just an awesome line up together with those 2 cards. I really couldn't ask for a better lineup. I know the way that the deck is built, I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I only have this card in the back that counts as a Wakazashi for this. So I may do some more changing because this guy also has it's just so weird that this is the main one to drop in the back. Not Korematsu. It's just this guy is the main Grade 2 because I mean when you look at it, everything else this is really the only booster. Really the only booster. Everything else, like I don't really put anything else behind unless I have to with this guy to boost, but it's primarily this guy. If I find him, he goes in the back. Well guys, that's my deck profile. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the comments section below. I'll be hitting you up with more Touken Ranbu. I got like 6 more decks about later.